Manchester United have first contacts with Leipzig for the likes of Benjamin Sesko. Not that I wanted that to happen. I'm still trying to work out how it will happen, but maybe Vivell has gotten his way, potentially. Not that I'm going to be mad about it. It's always going to come down to the price. You know, Fabrizio Romano confirmed this story, so it looks like United might be playing two fronts. Let's see what happens with Ollie Watkins. Maybe the price is deemed too much for United, that they don't see the value in it. Or, you know, they might go for the, might not go for the likes of Sesko because the price is way too high. We'll see what happens there. But it's another Sesko video. You know, the club is said to have face-to-face meetings in the coming days. And I do wonder what's going to happen since United, you know, they're one of the special clubs, as they say, for Benjamin Sesko. Mixed reviews all the time, mixed reviews. And I can appreciate Sesko's qualities, and I can appreciate that he's a very young player and there's a lot to grow into. You know, he's got the likes of Mbeumo and Cunha behind him now, or Xerxes and Mainu if he's to play in one of those 10 spots, maybe Ahmad. There's a lot more creativity and a lot more supply than what Hojlund was demanding from before with the likes of a Garnacho or sometimes Mason Mount. Nothing too concrete, or wing backs that were a little bit too defensive of last season. There's not much going on for him, but it tells me that the future of Hojlund is not looking great. And it's not that I'm not sad about that. I mean, I don't think anybody's sad about that. It's just, this is the business. You know, you don't take your chances, you don't thrive, you're gonna get hooked. So we'll see what happens on the Hojlund front. It's just that the Sesko front is always gonna be interesting, considering, you know, Newcastle are in place as we stand, as we speak, to put up the money that Leipzig do want, and also the wages that Sesko want. But Sesko, according to Fabrizio again, is happy to wait this one out, and he's not in no rush and will make his decision at some point. I feel like with United, of course, they will always again come back down to the same thing I say over and over again: sales. There's a little bit about Anthony and Saudi once again, could be a factor. So if we keep thriving and going on that route, then surely that's going to be the man to lead the line at United. It looks like Sesko has everything and every tool to go forward to be Manchester United's new number 9. I know I've been twerking more or less for the likes of Ollie Watkins. It's just, I feel like I have too much of a PTSD kind of situation with United making big money signings and them not really working out. I thought those days were kind of done for now. I just want the guarantee of goals. You know, I know Vivell is definitely keen on him, and apparently Wilcox is very keen on the likes of Watkins. I don't know who's going to win that battle, but there's no issue with going in for both strikers, you know, in my opinion, because don't put all your eggs in one basket in case one doesn't exactly work out. Like, I appreciate the qualities of Sesko. You know, the fact that he's really good in the air is something that I feel like United's lacking massively, and we could really do with that kind of option. You know, when you got a striker that can leap into the air, like better than the other, then you know you're going to have another variety of goal. Ollie Watkins is also good in the air, right? But it's always going to come down to the price and age. You know, I don't know if Sesko's going to upgrade from his 13 Bundesliga goal tally as well in 2 seasons in a row, considering he's played a different kind of role at Leipzig. We've seen that Openda is linked with the likes of Aston Villa, which could be the Ollie Watkins replacement, which I don't really care about too much. But I don't think, well, in my view, I don't think the likes of Leipzig would want to sell both their strikers going into next season. Maybe they could do with a refresh. Who knows? It's Leipzig. They're a big club, right? In Germany at that. No, with Sesko, the question is for you guys: do you really believe if he's going to be valued at the likes of, let's say, 69 to 78 million, is he worth the pennies? Is he going to succeed? You know, are we going to go into a season where we need him to land, we're waiting for him to land, and that might not get us over the line right now? You know, I'm going to get the comments saying, you know, if you get Watkins, but then we're going to have to go buy a new striker in 2 years. I mean, or maybe 3. And my answer to that is, so what? You know, I feel like right now we need a stopgap, and I think Watkins is the perfect stopgap. You know, we need one that's going to put us into, let's call it the Matrix. You know, somehow we go from 42 goals up to 70 goals, 70 plus goals even. And then in 2 years, we revisit that. I just don't find that United is in a prime position in terms of finances to be like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go sanction the likes of Benjamin Sesko when we need a central midfielder, when we need the likes of a goalkeeper. You know, that's a huge fee they're asking for. Now, if United somehow negotiate that fee down to something like 60 million, 65 million, which is highly unlikely considering our other two signings that we've made, then I hear it. I'm all for it, you know, especially if Watkins is 50 million. You know, when Ben Jacobs is giving updates about the likes of Ollie Watkins saying that they would listen to maybe offers or could be tempted in a region of 50 million, I feel like, yeah, go do it. Because next season or next summer, I feel like United need to focus more on the centre-back area, the central centre-back, maybe a wing-back, maybe another midfielder, not so much the attack. So then the next summer, we can focus on an attacker, we can focus on a striker. Yeah, and go get the next best things, you know, because everyone's going to be of a good age. We don't need more right attacking 10s. We got youth academy prospects coming through the door. You know, if you bought Cheeto, if you think you're going to need a striker in 2 years, he's going to be like, what, 19, maybe 20. Maybe he's that product. I mean, you scouted him out, right? But with Sesko, with the first contacts, we'll see what happens with Fabrizio Romano's updates, because we know he likes to pretty much recycle the same news. If it's in the coming days, that kind of tells me during this week. United have narrowed their search down. Let's see. I think United need to get a little bit creative with this. You know, push these other signings to go out the door first, and then we can have, as fans, more of a clear idea how we're going to finance different bits and bobs. You know, with Sesko, it could be a thing where they don't mind it being amortized over 5 years, where if you look at it differently, then what's if you say, let's say 70 million, amortizing over the likes of 5 years is what, 17.5 million. Where the likes of Watkins, they might want something a little bit more upfront. You know, amortize that over, they might want 3 years. Meaning, you know, United, if it's 50 million, you might have to pay a little bit more. I don't know if my maths is off. It just depends. So value for money is what is the message I'm getting from Manchester United's pickings right now. It's just who's going to win. It's Vivell versus Wilcox. And whether the board's split, whether the board wants Premier League proven, what is the correct tool to give Amorim at this moment of time? You know, and that's why I think it's Watkins. Because right now, at this moment of time, United need goals. United need to get back on top, not trying to find the next best thing. I don't feel we're in that position. But I'll stay optimistic. If Sesko is the one to come through the door, I will support him, and hopefully he can hit the ground running. Maybe it's not going to be against Arsenal. It could be a little bit too late before he comes through the door, but maybe it's the next ones against Fulham. Couple things I do like about Sesko is I feel like he's got mentality. I feel like he's got that bit to be basically to go to the next step. You know, the qualities he does bring, I feel like can be refined. It's not like he's a bad footballer. It's not like I don't want him completely, because obviously I want one more than the other, but I do feel like in the next 2 years, he will become the potential that Vivell saw back at, you know, Man United saw all those years ago. Whether he's, what was he, like 16 or something along them lines. He's got that something about him, you know, very strong and aggressive player. You know, that's what happens when you're an Eastern European, right? But yeah, I do appreciate his qualities. It's just that, does United and Amorim have the, you know, the ability to get that out of him, you know, take away the rawness, make sure he refines a little bit more, and then, yeah, you know, get going. Value for money will always be the thing, but I keep saying that. It's just, I just don't see how it lands right now. I feel like Newcastle is more of a landing space for him to develop more than we do. Well, than what we can provide, because we don't do that of late, you know, with all our young players. You know, we'll see what happens with Heaven and Euro and Mainu. Maybe this is the season. This is where everything changes. But I'll advocate for it, you know. If we go for it, so be it. As long as Manchester United get a good, solid midfielder in the door as well, I'm all for it. As long as he has the environment to thrive, you see all these interviews going on, then I can get behind that. You know, let's see, you know, put your money where your mouth is. Let's see it and I'll believe it. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. And hopefully if he does come through the door in time, if we are to go for him or not a Watkins instead, then I don't want there necessarily being a lot of pressure the way it was like on Hojlund. That's just my main concern. We know what our fans are like. We don't even give them months to land. How easy is it going to be for him to land in English football? Does he play the game at a high enough pace to do so? Again, a lot of questions. So if United have done their scouting, I'm going to say Ineos signings have pretty much all been hits. Some of you may disagree, but I feel like they have been hits in some capacity, whether it's more squad-based or if not first team. But we'll see. We'll see.
Anyways, smash the likes. You know how important likes are. And also, if you're new and you like the way I talk, or you know you want to see more, then of course subscribe. We'll be back for more videos certainly, and yeah, look out for them. Peace.